Corki.
It's Yagao, guys.
Yeah. Well, no, they want Ksante. Over Corki?
I feel like it's more of a takeaway right here because Flandre has played full aggro champions over on the top side of the map. And now Shanji is known for picking the wackiest stuff up that top side of the map. He has been showing all the gods. All the gods have been flickered through.
We saw Flandre lock in Garen in game number 1. Shanji plays those weird champions. If there was ever a time to do it.
I mean, they're against the ropes.
You want to put Darius into Ivern?
No, Garen. Because you can execute Ksante from
Execute Daisy.
Which we could. From basic. Don't.
It's happening again.
I will.
It's happening again. The spirits arrive at the top side. Shanji goes for the Udyr. He's laughing on the stage. NIP spirits are obviously high.
So Corki seems like a given. Right?
R5 Corki survived 10 bans and 9 picks.
I am scratching my head right now at this final rotation for NIP. I do wonder what lane swap shenanigans are potentially on offer. If NIP are going towards the Udyr, my immediate thought is that surely that's the only reason why. I can't imagine they would opt into regular laning with Udyr top without looking to lane swap.
I mean, it looked good. In game number 2, they did deprive Kanavi off of the early game. However, it showed you how strong the champion alone is, even when he falls behind.
The reason is, though, that they had Lilia into Ivern. They have Brand into Ivern this time, and Brand just doesn't have the same amount of mobility, the same early game wave jungle clear. It's just not going to operate the same. If they still opt into the lane swap, they're going to be able to deny Kanavi, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be nowhere near as efficient. The team fighting, however, I think on offer, the potential of it, a little bit higher than when we had that game number 2. So I'm still relatively hopeful here for NIP to try and grasp some kind of early game lead. They've got priority across the board with the exception of the mid lane, and I think that's what they're going to have to try to look to use.
And I do think as well, Jhin Corki, if you're not ahead, that's all the damage this comp has to work with. It's not that much to try and get through. If this Udyr gets strong, if the Rell gets strong, that's a big old front line to try and work through.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to walk up to a Brand and a Misfortune as well. So the Udyr doesn't necessarily have to do all the heavy lifting. He just has to be the front line they need. This time around, I don't think Kanavi can actually afford to get put behind in the jungle. So at JDG, they read the early game of NIP in game number 3 so well. Can they do it again?
NIP have one last chance now to prove themselves. Rookie in that mid lane, a fan favorite all over the world, on the cusp of elimination. He's going to take on JDG, who look indomitable in the last couple of games. It's time to head into game number 4 and find out what NIP have left.
Still very scattered.
I just wanted to mention, I wish you guys could see Jamada's face when those Giles are not in perfect sync. He just seems like such a disappointed father.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like a disappointed father watching NIP today, John.
Watching them get fathered.
Yes, watching them get fathered is making me feel like a disappointed father. Now, let's talk about how the early game could pan out. It seems like, despite the Udyr lock-in, we're going to have standard lanes by the looks of where everyone is right now, unless Photic decides to cross over into the top side.
JDG was ready for it, though.
Yeah, they were ready for the potential, but let's talk about this Ivern then, because in the previous Ivern game, we saw NIP doing some shenanigans in the early game, and it managed to set Kanavi behind this time around with standard lanes, and Shanji spotted coming into the jungle here.
Yep.
I mean, should this just mean even going into the mid game and just smooth sailing?
Yeah.
I feel like this is a case where you have Udyr potentially pushing up that top lane, and then you can enter the jungle of Ivern to try and slow him down on the clear. I feel like NIP have been very dominant in terms of trying to stop Kanavi from clearing, especially when he's on the Ivern.
They have, but he's gonna have to crash wave 2. Here's my problem with it. He's gonna have to crash wave 2, and then Kanavi is gonna be level 3.
He's trying. Look at him.
I mean, I don't think he gets to. And the problem is, Leyan doesn't really have any interest in making that invade work, I don't think. So let's see, because Kanavi's going for the very fast Ivern clear by the looks of it. He's going to mark red. He should walk back to his bottom side after marking red, pick up those camps again, and then walk back to the top side. I don't think they're going to go for this invade. So I think it's just going to be no random shenanigans for the time being. And I mean, again, as you can tell from how I'm speaking, not a big fan of the Udyr. But again, we know what it can do as this trade is very heavy between these two mid laners, and we'll see how volatile this mid lane gets, because it was very volatile a few games ago.
And Kanavi has been spotted at every camp he's walked to. He's been pinged the entire time. Triple lane priority coming through for NIP. And this was usually what we would say for JDG. Give priority lanes to Kanavi. He'll give you pretty much the game on his own. Let's see what Leyan can do with all that priority of the map, with all that freedom to move around the map, potentially looking to take summoners early on that brand. Of course, you want the fast first clear. Spotted one more time. Sanji is just
he's fine.
suddenly his inner singed.
Yeah, he just knows he can't proxy the wave, and it's going to bounce back anyway, so it's not the worst in the world. But Kanavi doing a good job. Very fast full clear from him, and it just pressures Shanji away from that proxy. And again, he's now going to be able to go down towards that bottom side, cover his bottom lane, who are getting shoved in at the moment.
Certainly are. JDG though, going aggressive in the mid lane. Yagao getting that extra damage from the Ivern, but the flash from Leyan. He came into this roster and changed their fortunes. He comes into game 4 and changes their fortunes once more.
Great combo from Leyan. It's the Q flashy. Yagao can't even react. Clean stuff. First blood goes onto him, and we need to see Leyan have a good start to this game, because again, these previous 2 Lilia games, whilst on an individual level 1-to-1, have looked great in the early stages, hasn't been able to get diddly squat done in the team fights.
And let's watch this one more time. The E is going to get popped onto Yagao. He gets to play aggressive, has Ivern behind him. The push is going to come up as well. And Kanavi, he's trying to predict sort of where Leyan is going, but a great flash coming through the jungler of NIP to get out of the queue and assassinate Yagao in the mid lane. And again, you mentioned it, Leyan needs that head start to feel confident again after 2 games where it hasn't looked the best for him. However, he is on the most successful jungle that he's had today. Yeah,
I just feel like the fact that Leon's not in a position where he has to start fights, I just have a feeling that NIP are going to look a little bit more comfortable in that kind of situation where it's just Zhuo looking right through the Rell. I think the range of their engage might be an issue, especially because, again, JDG's engage predominantly just comes through missing as well. So we'll see how both these teams handle their fights, considering it's just a support with a majority of their engage tools, as Kanavi was thinking about an angle up towards the top side, but Shanji, it's Los Platos, the curse.
Yeah, Shanji's going for the wave. He's hungry for those minions. Does drop a ward, but Kanavi, I mean, Shanji's not really got a good direction to run it, as Flandre is just cleaning up the wave.
The problem is Kanavi deals so little damage.
Shanji's out of mana though. He's level 6.
He's level 6. He just got a bit back.
Actually, nothing's gonna happen. Ivern poses this little of a threat.
Flandre is just pinging underneath tower. He's like, listen, man, I've got 20 creeps underneath my tower. I do not care about this Udyr. We cannot kill the Udyr.
If you wanted to kill the Udyr, you should have locked in some damage, eh, buddy?
All right.
Well, the reply would be, I wanted to, but you're in the roster.
Please, Mr. Coachman. I mean, to be honest, Kanavi, it's a good talking point, actually, because Kanavi, I expected him to be playing carries. I think a lot of people expect Kanavi to play carries. He has looked very happy on the trees today. He's been very happy to be more of a utility jungler. And if JDG do have hopes of Worlds, which I'd assume they do since they're here today, they're going to have to be able to show versatility. We don't exactly know what the Worlds patch is going to be looking like for the pro teams. Kanavi's showing that he can play both styles.
Yeah, no big changes on that patch, potentially. Could, of course, all just be prototype, not go to live. But looks like it's just going to be the grub for Dragon Trade. And it makes a lot of sense. Again, Ivern, unless he's level 6 on the first grub, somehow sucks at contesting them. And just seems like NIP happier about this trade as they pick up all 3. And now I suspect Shanji's going to start picking up those plates as well up there in the top side.
Oh yeah, Shanji's having a great damage to Ksante. JDG are too slow.
Oh, it's not even going to fully reset.
Yagao had to go mid lane to catch the wave, which means you only have a Jhin hitting that dragon. You do not have Daisy for the added damage onto the dragon. So not only JDG don't get any control of every lane, but they also do double objectives around the map. That's absolutely disastrous. And here comes my thought process. The more Shanji gets stronger on the tops of the map, the more Ruler on that Jhin is going to struggle to kill him later on.
Yeah, I can get behind that idea, at least this game. As again, it's just kind of the nature. This is why, you know, we saw Udyr come out as kind of an answer to Ksante, is that he doesn't really get to like push him out like ever, and Ksante basically has no option. Shanji does whatever he wants up there, the Udyr.
I think we're probably on track for a potential record here in this game in terms of the ratio of time spent near the enemy jungler versus damage dealt to each other. Like, Kanavi and Shanji have spent so much time looking at each other. Neither of them really hurts the other one.
And this is really funny because I think Shanji's probably got another Demolish proc ready as he walks up to this tower. So he's just going to stand there, let Demolish activate, and just hit the tower.
Too right.
Almost get this next plate as well. 3 grubs. Should be enough.
He's loving it. Oh, look at the cavalry are coming. Shanji, you may have proxied your last wave, or in fact, maybe
no.
Waves arriving. Okay,
a ward.
spotted.
That control ward in the just above the red buff.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually spotting out Kanavi right now. I don't know if it spotted out Missing as well, but just the idea.
I mean, Missing cleared the other ward, so he was spotted.
So
Ruler arrives.
Yeah, between Kanavi showing on that ward and no one being bot side, Spidey senses just starting for Shanji, and he backs away from that wave.
I mean, look, the Udyr, we criticized it in the previous game. Let's be honest, looked pretty terrible in the lane swap scenario. This normal laning is working.
Normal laning into a counter pick, this is what it can do. The problem is, last time, as there's 2 blue buffs on the screen, guys. Leon's going to get that one, though, with the smite. Of course, Kanavi has to mark it into smite, so it's not really a 50-50. But yeah, last time, Udyr was like, what, solo killed at level 2 by Renekton and then never got to play the game again until that one random time where he just half-healthed him for fun with a Q and Doran's ring for damage.
Yeah, that was something else.
Now, of course, the map looks pretty dead even. However, again, I'll agree with Jamada, the Udyr looks so much different because he gets to dictate how he plays that laning phase. And not only that, there are no threats to kill the Udyr in the backline. Yeah,
and that while I do like this swap from JDG to prevent Shanji from basically just taking the whole topside tower, the problem now is Photic will shove Flandre underneath his tower and probably get plates for himself. So we're kind of just re-splitting the gold. Ruler might. I mean, this is the problem. Ruler doesn't even really get to shove.
Okay, Ruler walks away. Shanji, not quite that inside.
But this is the thing. Ruler can't get plates in front of Udyr either. So now it's just a thing of Photic now gets the trade plates back on the bottom side. So it's all up for NIP.
And I feel like Shanji played that so perfectly right there. JDG now looking to punish.
Flandre flashes, Leyan answers, and a Pyroclasm with a bullet time on top. NIP, beautiful little early game here. It's a 2,500 gold lead, about to be 3 as Shanji gets another plate. I mean, this is a totally different game.
This is very problematic. Not only does Flandre die towards that bot side of the map, but then no one else is willing to step up. There's so much control through NIP, brutally forcing through the lanes that you cannot even walk under towers. Now, Ruler, we've seen this before. When JDG falls flat on the solo lanes, Ruler will try to step up to make something happen. Has this map been stepping up the entire day today? Again, it's going to be so difficult to deal with an Udyr when you're a Jhin. This champion is not known for his tank killing ability.
I love your monologue, Trouble. -1 on the screen, I fear.
-1.
Completely countered. Great flash here from Leyan, by the way. Great reactions. The return is excellent. Pyroclasm, E spread on the conflagration is big. It's just perfect in terms of a turn, and yeah, JDG getting minced.
And I think you're absolutely right as well, Trouble, that Ruler has to be one of the ones to step up because, you know, JDG last year, like we said before, a lot of lane advantages, a lot of mid games where they were coming in with the advantage. That's not the case here in game number 4. Oh, 4-man engage comes through from Zhuo, but the rest of the team not really on board. And Ruler gets a freebie. Oh no, the zap comes through from Rookie, and Ruler dies in the back of the pit. What has been such a clean couple of games from JDG, and just, where did they go?
That was a head scratcher, and I mean, look, JDG, this game is spiraling out of control. I'm not going to say a desperation play over Grubs, but like, you know, it is definitely a bit of a strange one, and it could have been way worse because Zhuo's engage was excellent. Leon didn't even drop Pyroclasm on their heads. Like, he could have just walked forward and tanked it just to get his damage out. So if a fight looks like that, without one of the core damaging abilities being present in a fight, it could just go from bad to worse. Yagao just going to slip out there.
All fighting over the Krugs there. Leyan will grab them, and it will be a tower on the top side as well. Look at the lead in the top of the screen. You guys said NIP have got to get ahead. boy, have they got ahead this
And again,
game.
I just don't understand how we have games 2 and 3, and then we jump into this one, and it's pure domination by NIP. They control every single lane. They walk into the River knowing exactly how they want to engage. The second JDG bundle up, look at this incredible engage coming in from Zhuo.
It's just so strong from Zhuo. And I mean, look, on the bottom side, Missing's trying to prevent Leyan from coming in. Otherwise, that Pyroclasm goes everywhere. The Conflagration goes everywhere. But even still, without some of those abilities, the Pyroclasm was just a cooldown. That's why. Either way, it was just absolutely incredible. Didn't need it. The HUD lied to me initially. Fantastic, fantastic fight from NIP and just corner off JDG inside the pit.
And we got to talk about NIP holding on in terms of the mental here, right?
Yeah.
A couple of these games have been rough to watch from the perspective of NIP. And in the draft, when Shanji locked in that Udyr again, we saw him laughing on the camera. The fact that they are on match point against them, the fact that they're on the cusp of elimination and they're laughing in the draft and then looking like this on the Rift. Fair play, NIP. The squad is still alive, and Photic this time around, the one with all the gold.
It does seem like they're all on the same page in this particular game. They look at JDG and they instantly pull the trigger. And I feel like there's a lot of head scratches in terms of who's the leader in NIP, who's making the calls in NIP. And if it's not Leyan, and if it's not Zhuo, and if it's not Rookie, and if it's not Shanji, and if it's not Photic, who the heck makes the calls when it comes to those teamfights? And we saw chaotic teamfights in game number 3. We saw ultimates being thrown around before very crucial teamfights. However, here NIP play as a ball. They group up and they engage together with Zhuo. And I feel like this is something that they can learn moving forward. If potentially this goes to game number 5, they can carry the momentum!
Oh! Photic has his moment in the sun. He finds Ruler wanting and he gets himself the solo kill.
Having his own beach party, hey, in the mid lane.
Giving him the thumbs up.
Giving him the thumbs up. He's going to pick away maybe another plate as well on the back end of that. And again, JDG are just scrambling for ideas. NIP have complete control of this map. And there's not really much, it feels, that JDG can do about it.
Oh, missing. Wanted the red buff. Won't quite get it from Leyan, who has been having a stonking game himself. All 3 carries, let's be honest, 2,000 gold ahead at this point for NIP, and Rookie's getting even further with his tower.
I'm just so confused about JDG. The reason why Kanavi is on what I call dog leash champions is because Flandre is playing more aggressive champions up the top lane. Too many cooks in the kitchen to carry doesn't necessarily work with JDG. However, right here we've got Flandre taking a step back. Kanavi is again not on a carry, and this team is now lacking damage to take control of that early game. NIP are just running them over.
Just feel like maybe more aggressive top laner for, dare I say, game 5 at this rate for NIP. That's a cast a curse if ever I've said one. And I mean, just look at this. Gets the slope with the make it rain. Bullet time comes in. Doesn't matter if you're a world champion. Doesn't matter how celebrated you are as a player. Slows are slow.
And coconuts raining.
That's gonna hurt. So now JDG, they got to dig deep. They got to find something. Remember, this team not the same team as last year. The roster changes. They're feeling it when it comes to these early game deficits. Missing, forced to flash as well. NIP, really, really good control and good punish for any time JDG tries to contest the river.
I feel like if you're gonna fight at any time, you have to fight on the half item point. Right now, JDG, they've got their core items completed on all of their champions. They need to look to fight NIP before they complete their second item.
Second charge in the mid lane here. NIP doing a good job of snowballing. Flandre! Double Q3! Subs in for playoffs, subs in for regionals, and takes NIP apart. He goes down in the end, the redemption comes through. Curtain call isn't enough. And the questions of damage in this team may have an answer. The root is there, and Yagao has the damage after all. Kanavi finds the engage, and Zhuo, the next target. He'll be forced to flash, and NIP sent away.
Goodness me, what a play from Flandre. Kind of felt like it came out of nowhere, but Photic just completely disrespects the possibility of what Flandre can do on this Ksante. And even after the flash, just because the way it gets buffered, gets dragged right the hell back into the chores of JDG. Excellent pick and a big relief of pressure has just been applied to this game for JDG.
I feel like a lot of people forget that Flandre is a world champion for a reason. He sees the plays, he makes them happen. JDG needed something to happen. They needed a pick, they needed to shut down Photic. Flandre pretty much delivered him on a platter, as we're gonna see right here. Zhuo walks a little bit too far forward, and of course they are confident. They've got extra items in their inventories. They've got the charge onto the mid lane, but they're a little bit too split. And when Photic steps up, Q3 already onto that Ksante, flinks him back straight onto that ult. Incredible play by Flandre.
You know, you also called it, Georgia. They had to fight whilst the items were still, you know, basically one apiece, right? Just the components. And it's exactly what they do. They find their little bit of time to squeeze some gold back into this game. Now my only concern, it's not even really a concern now that I take a look at it. I was going to say what flashes, what summoner spells were burned from JDG. You lose a flash off Ivern, off Ksante, it's kind of okay, also missing. The carries still have their flashes, so they can defend themselves, reposition if an IP do find picks. Photic!
Oh, Photic, not twice in a row. Surely not twice in a row. Flandre consistently finding Photic and consistently opening the game up for JDG.
That is absolutely genius for JDG to just stick into that bush and wait for Photic to walk in. There is no vision control on the side of NIP in their own jungle in their try to contest for that dragon, and JDG have been clawing their way back over a 7,000 gold deficit.
Just noticed that Photic wasn't with the rest of NIP, so made the assumption that he's got to be rotating over. Do some investigative work. Photic's at the chickens.
Investigative journalist Flandre always finds his answer. And what a game from Flandre, especially when we were saying, you know, need the carry. Oh no, it's just AD carries caught out everywhere. Ruler, both of his sums gone now. As Rookie dives in on the top side, Flandre just used his Pathmaker, the Q3, dodged by Rookie. I mean, what can you do as Ksante when you're being run down? The redemption comes in, but Flandre has a minion wave. He's got a shield, and he's got out.
Meanwhile, bot lane, Shanji's in trouble.
It's just action everywhere, and it's a kill this time on Shanji. Yagao has a chance on the tower, but in the meantime, NIP, they're just going to break open the base.
Top tier 2, worth way more gold than that bottom tier 1, but Yagao is the focus point of all of this gold in isolation. 350 gold goes onto him. It's a 3-way split on that tier 2 up there, I believe. So I think JDG feel okay about that, getting Corki to a point where he's going to approach third item really soon. He's just ticked over on the Muramana as well with the Triforce. So Yagao's there. Ruler's on, you know, what people call the pinnacle of the Mosquito build. The rapid fire cannon just come in, right? Still needs the Mortal Reminder third or maybe an IE. So for JDG, despite this gold lead, which has slowly been crawling back to even, some of the puzzle pieces are slowly being pieced together, and it doesn't look as dim as it did about 3 or 4 minutes ago.
I feel like AD carries need to calm the heck down. Everyone's gonna get their fair share of creeps. Do not walk on ramps, walk only when you have vision. It happened back to back. Photic dies twice into Ruler dying, having to flash away on that ramp as well. You gotta be very careful, and this is why we say that the value of that mid lane tier 1 tower is so large when that vision falls deep, that you cannot have immobile AD carries or any carries walk up to that lane trying to shove in those waves. There are so many metal horse ladies that are looking to take advantage of that, and JDG, even though they have been crawling slowly but surely back, still NIP with the item advantages.
Yeah. Remember, guys, never overforce and die for the 112 gold. But it certainly can be worth it if you can actually exercise why it's nice to have that
hey,
tier 1
if it's
down.
free, we take those.
And NIP have done a fairly good job so far of continuing to strangle out JDG, but it has been a few hiccups now that have allowed them to feel a little bit more confident to step up here and there. Seems like for the time being, though, NIP have their eyes set on this tier 2 in the bot side, and also mid lane left unattended.
Rookie steps up to try and get that damage down. 4 players here for NIP as Daisy defends on behalf of JDG, and will just about survive the burn thanks to that shield. But in the meantime, Shanji walks on forwards. So difficult to deter this. Udyr, Zhuo has found a flank. Kanavi on the wrong side, and Yagao's already gone missing. Not long for the world either, as he burns away into the base. Kanavi flashes, but he'll still be chased down. Rookie with another no. Photic grabs it, and the root actually comes through. Photic tanking for Rookie, but that's a charged up shot, and Rookie's down. Ruler finds his man.
NIP see Flandre all the way on the top side of the map. They know he has no TP, cannot join the fight. It's a 4 versus 5 in favor of NIP. Great engage again from Zhuo. to try and take members down. Mid lane tower down, bot lane tower down. All outer towers have gone to the side of NIP.
And I want to commend NIP for coming back off the back of 2 very rough games to then also actually look decisive about engages. I think that was the most frustrating part about watching Game 2 and Game 3 for NIP. And so far, Zhuo's been doing a fantastic job. Finds all 3 here eventually.
Yagao tries to pre-buffer W there as well, but Rell was too close. Couldn't get out. Then there 2 split Kanavi actually redemptions himself as well. That's a bit selfish, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Sometimes you gotta do, right? What you have to survive. And now, very funnily at the end, not only is it a double root, but the Glacial Augment actually slows Rookie down. He can't walk out.
Oh, he nearly gets to the wall with the E as
Ivern is useful even when he's dead.
Exactly. Very
My goodness. It's getting a little bit messy for NIP. The lead not as big as it was. They'd love to finish this off and keep themselves in the running for Worlds. JDG want to do the same as Missing, tanking on the front line. Damage out from Ruler as NIP trying to group up and pressure, but JDG don't want to relent control of their own jungle. They might not have an option though.
JDG trying to take some control off of NIP, basically. NIP have got 2 big objectives they want to fight for. They've got the Dragon and the Baron. They've established vision around both of those, and JDG are trying to push out the waves to then allow them to dip into the jungle or the river to gain any remnants of control that they have. Flandre too far forward.
Flandre's caught out, and another great engage from Zhuo. The support is down, and not even the real support either. That's Missing, who's just trying to escape in the meantime. Flandre finds himself in a 1v1 with Shanji, all out over the wall, but he's in no man's land, and Photic wants to claim that land as his own. Ruler in a 1v1 with Rookie in the mid lane, but look at this, NIP straight to the Baron, and they might just be on the cusp of securing this game.
Another engage from Zhuo, finds Kanavi, and the Baron will be started up here. It's 4 versus 4 for the time being. But again, there's no jungler on JDG, so this should be an easy takedown. What can JDG do to try and take away some purple capes?
Full shot! Oh, Leyan, good with the smite. Safe hands there on the brand. That felt dicey with Ruler strutting on up, but NIP hold on.
Now NIP do not have time to cash in all the gold they got from the previous fight and the Baron. They have to run straight towards that Dragon. They do not have any vision control. Kanavi back alive for JDG. Let's see if they can take that one away. It doesn't look like JDG want to be fighting this at all.
And it's not even like they had to. It's like JDG had the option to, and NIP still walked back towards the Dragon and said, no, this is our objective as well. Leon's going to take this one and going to put them 1 away from Chemtech Soul. And honestly, we saw the impact of Chemtech Soul last game, so not too bad.
Yeah.
Kanavi made the exact same move on Maokai in game number 1, and he got the exact same way. Now all eyes on Ruler, because he's gonna poke, he's gonna get his movement speed right here, but he doesn't know which side of the team fight to help. He's trying to help Flandre, but Flandre's been kidnapped away. He's trying to help the other side, but NIP is pulling away from that as well as Kanavi goes down.
Oh, now the siege begins. NIP, they've got the Baron to work with, and they're working on double lanes at the same time. Shanji can just sit there mid lane all day long. Nobody can really threaten him. And Rookie, in the meantime, getting the damage down onto these towers. It's a slow and steady push from NIP. That's a deep, deep ward. But, I mean, who's going to TP flank? Yagao? Is it really a Corki flank angle? For once, I disagree with the LPL observers.
Is his package up?
He wishes. There's JDG now. They're being pushed in NIP. Leyan especially, what a game from him. Came in to save this roster. After such a terrible Rumble stage from this squad. Spring, rough in the group stage, amazing in playoffs. Summer, rough in the group stage, showing up in playoffs again. And now pushed against the ropes in regionals. They look to try and finish the job.
8,000 gold lead right now for NIP, and they're looking to close it out. QSS also purchased for Rookie right there. No one gets to pin him down. No more slows from dead Iverns. None of that. Rookie's now gonna push up that top lane wave. They need 3 pushing lanes. They can very easily have 3 pushing lanes. Right now they are ahead respectively. There is a TP onto Rookie. If he needs to join his team, Shanji's gonna be pushing that mid lane and then dipping towards the top side of the map.
Okay, I was wondering if they're really going to let that ward sit there. Photic did a good job of trying to let it sit there for a moment. But NIP just by the books. Given how rough game 2 and 3 were, They don't want to take any chances.
I mean, honestly, the way NIP are playing the map, they're JDG and JDG.
Yeah.
This is exactly how JDG have won the 2 games that they did in this series. Zhuo has been so good on these engages, and he finds missing once again, but it's not that big of a magnet storm. Maybe defensible for JDG. Rushes make it really annoying to get onto the minions, and Daisy is gone. Missing is Chunked. NIP continue to pressure as Shanji pushes in the mid lane. The rest of the gang, Siege is on the top side. The supers are starting to pour into the base, and JDG, they've got to dig deep and find a miracle. Forcing one flash is not quite enough as Flandre on the front line now. Flash from Missing, and there's the all-out to get the first kill. Leyan down, Photic next as Flandre gets in the brush, but he goes down, and Missing will follow as Shanji gets into the action, and a double for Photic. Level 16 on the Misfortune. Bullet time still available. NIP are gonna finish the job. Short of a miracle from Yagao and Ruler here. Kanavi arrives on the scene. Yagao forced back onto the fan, but a bullet time! And the laser on top. NIP have done it again. They've somehow pushed this series to 5.
NIP, rookie enjoyers. One step at a time is what it takes. NIP. You know the good old days of NIP magic, of Counter-Strike, even when they were beaten down 0-11, that was the NIP magic. One round at a time. They looked lost, they looked defeated, but that looked so dominant from them.
And even just within this matchup, within this year, within League of Legends, right? Both times these teams played in playoffs, both times went to 5 games, and each team won one of those series. We're in round 3, the bell was ringing at the start, and we're going